Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue with the structure of atom, and in the last class we have discussed the Pauli exclusion principle. Now today we are just stepping one step more toward the electronic configuration that is through the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, right? And according to this rule, the electrons in an orbital of a subshell prefer to remain unpaired so far as possible. But when an extra electron is there, that time the pairing will take place only when all the orbitals are singly filled, right, of a subshell. So that's why it is known as maximum multiplicity. That means the electrons will try in an atom, the number of unpaired electron in a subshell will be maximum, right? And if the pairing is needed for that, the subshell will have all the electrons unpaired in the orbitals and then the pairing will begin. So just have a look on the board here. While filling of different orbitals of a subshell, pairing of electrons takes place when all the orbitals of a subshell are singly occupied. Right? Now let us take an example related to it. Now we know that p subshell has got 3 atomic orbitals. So let us take the case of 3p. Right. Now in the 3p, if we have to accommodate 5 electrons, right? In that case, you can represent a subshell either in this way, right? Or you can draw the circles. Right? The orbitals of a subshell or a subshell can be indicated by a block having the orbitals or either in this format or in this format. Right? Now the 5 electrons. So you can fill the electron in this way. 1, you could have done in this way also. 2, 3 and 4, and this is 5. Right? One way of filling the electrons is in this way, that you are just getting two electrons and then one electron will be left in an orbital. But this way is a wrong way. Right? So how you're going to do it? You will get the orbitals of a subshell first singly filled. Right? So one electrons in each orbital of a subshell, and then the pairing will begin. Right. So in this case, because we are having the 5 electrons, our configuration is not getting affected. Right. The number of electrons in the 3p orbitals is not going affected. Right. But if we have only 4 electrons, in that case, right, the one which we can do is 2, 3 and 4. Right. Or we can represent it in this way. First, getting the electron singly filled orbital, null orbital, and then the pairing will begin. Right. So what is the configuration here of 3p? It is same. It is also letting 4 electrons, but in the px, 3px, we will have 2 electrons, and in 3py, we will have 2 electrons. Whereas, according to this, we will have in 3px 2 electrons, in 3py we will have 1 electron, and in 3pz we will have 1 electron. Right, students? So among these two, which one you will prefer? You are going to do this? Definitely not. And this you are going to do. That means this is in accordance to the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, that whenever the subshell is to be filled up, right? So in it, the orbitals which are there will be first getting 1 electron each, and then the pairing will begin. Right, students? This is about the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, and it plays an important role when the electrons are filled in a orbitals of an atom. right? So now we are going to discuss the another rule which is known as the Aufbau principle, and it is a building block, right, of filling of the atomic orbitals in terms of the energy. Hope so you have understood this, right? So we will now do the Aufbau principle. So according to the Aufbau principle, right, the electrons in an orbitals are filled up in the increasing order of their energy. So we are now doing Aufbau's rule or principle. So according to it, the during filling of electrons in an orbital, right, the atomic orbitals in the increasing order of energies are filled, right? So when the we are talking about getting the electrons filled in an orbital, right, or yes, in an orbital, then the one which has got the lower energy will be filled first, and then we are going to gradually proceed toward the higher energy levels, right? And this form the basis of the electronic configuration, right? So now we will plot the diagram, or we will plot the figure from where we can easily get the sequence of filling of the configuration. So for that, we are just going to write down first the uh, orbitals which will be available for shell number 1, right? So in this way, this is 1s, first shell will have 1s, second shell has 2s, 2p, third shell will have 3s, 3p, 3d. In the same way we have 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f, then we have 5s, 5p, 5d. You can write 5f also there, which is 6s, 6p, right? We have 6d also, 6f also, and I'm writing here only 7s. You can continue in the same way, 7s, 7p, 7d, right? So when the electrons are to be filled up, so first the 1s will be filled, right? So I'm putting here 1s at first. So this is 1s, which will be filled up first, right? Then come the turn of the 2s. You can simply write in this way 1s, then it is 2s, 2p. You can see here that we have 2s and then 2p I've written there, then the turn of 3s, right? Once the 3s is been filled up, then comes the turn of 3p and then 4s, 3s, 3p and then the 4s. After the 4s been filled up, then comes the turn of 3d, 4p, 5s. So it is 3d, 4p, 5s. 3d, 4p, 5s. Right? Now it will be 4d, 5p, 6s. 4d, 5p, 6s. 4d, 5p, 6s. Right? And this way we will continue ahead. 4f, 5d, 6p, 7s. So it is 4f, 5d, 6p and 7s. Right, students? So this is going to be the we can say the sequence of the filling of the atomic orbitals when the uh, electrons are filled in an atom. Right? Now this is the Auger principle, and students, you have to follow this strictly when we are writing out the electronic configuration of an atom. Right? Now let us take a simple example of here nitrogen. Right, I'm taking the example of nitrogen here. We know that the atomic number of nitrogen is 7. Now, when the electrons are going to be filled up, they will follow this sequence. Right, so first it is 1s. Right, now you know that an s subshell has got only one orbital. So if it has got one orbital, so what will happen? So it can accommodate only 2 electrons. So that means the s subshell will have 2 electrons in it. Right, so it is 1s2. Now for the third electron we have to jump to 2s. Here also it is an s subshell. It can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. So it is in this way, 4. Now comes the turn of 2p. Right. So here the electrons which will be filled up will be how much is required now? To 7. We are required here, we have filled up 4. Now we require 5, 6 and 7. So it will be 3. Now students, p subshell has got 3 atomic orbitals, and in each atomic orbital we can have 2 electrons. So 3 into 2, so 6. So that means in p subshell we can accommodate maximum of 6 electrons. Right. So here the configuration, or we can say if we apply the Auger principle here, so here we are getting 1s, it is 2, 2s it is 2, 2p it is 3. You can't jump directly to p subshell, right? Right, or we can't just directly write down the 3s here. For it we have to follow this sequence where the energy level are being considered, right? And it is in accordance to the Auger principle also, right, as well as the n plus l, that is the Bohr-Bury rule. I think you remember that n plus l rule, that is the sum of the n plus l of a subshell in a subshell, right, of a orbital which will have the lower value will get first filled up, right? So it is in this case we have the lower energy, so 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s. They have got here lower value of n plus l, and gradually the value is going to increase. Right, this is about the Auger principle, and we will just now apply these 3 rules: Auger principle, Auger rule, second is the Hund's rule, and third the Pauli exclusion principle for writing the electronic configuration. The energy levels of the subshells and the atomic orbitals. Now we are just moving one step ahead. Now from the multi-electron energy level diagram, we can predict the energy levels of the various subshell, and we have come to know which subshell has got the lowest energy. So at the bottom we had the 1s, which will have the lower energy, right? So one thing more is there that to decide the energy level of the subshells uh, in a multi-electron system, right, it depends upon the principal quantum number. Along with that, it will depend upon the azimuthal quantum number, that is what is the subshell, right? So here I am writing the sequence, right, for the increasing order of the energy of various subshell, right? Later on we will discuss the Bohr-Bury rule. So this is that 1s has got the lowest energy, then this 2s, then 2p, this is 3p, 3s, then 3p. So this is 1s at the bottom, then we had 2s and 2p, then we had 3s and 3p. For the fourth shell we had 4s, then 3d, and then 4p, then 5s, 4d and 5p, and it will continue as it is. Right? Now this sequence of the energy can be predicted from the Bohr-Bury rule also. Right, the sequence of the energy of various subshell can be predicted by using Bohr-Bury rule. Right, now what does this rule is? It is also known as n plus l rule. Now here what does the N stands here? It stands for the principal quantum number of a particular subshell, and L stands for the azimuthal or subsidiary quantum number. So by knowing these two values N and L, we can predict or we can compare between the two subshells which will have the lower energy and which will have the higher energy. Now let us take an example here. Now if we have got 3s, right, and we have got the 4p. Now student, here in the 3s cell, in 3s subshell, what is the value of N here? The N value is 3. Now we are taking here 3s subshell. Now for the 3s subshell, what is the value of N? It is 3. And for the value of L, right, since it is S subshell, so for the S we always have 0, right? S is designated by 0, as we have discussed in our last class, that L value for the S subshell will be 0. Now what is the N plus L here? The N plus L will be 3 plus 0, that is equal to 3. Now let us do for the 4p here. So for 4p, what is the value of N here? It is 4. And what is the value of L here? Right? So P is designated by 1. So what will be the N plus L value? It will be 4 plus 1, that is equal to 5. Right. Now from here you can compare that whose N plus L value is more. So N plus L value, right, is more for the 4p subshell. Right. So definitely its energy will be going to be more, and 3s will have the lower energy. And this you can see from here also, that 3s, right, it has got the lower energy compared to that of the 4p. Right. So the first part of the N plus L rule is that the subshell which has got the lower value of N plus L will have the lower energy, right? So subshell having lower value of N plus L will have lower energy, right? This is the first part of the N plus L rule. Now the second part. Now it is also possible that for the two subshells, the value of N plus L comes to be same, right? It is possible that for the two subshell we can have the N plus L value same, right? Now here we can consider that if we take 3 plus D here, right? So we are considering here the 3D, and we will consider here the 4p. So let's see the second part of the N plus L rule, that we have taken 3D. Now student, what will be the N plus L value for 3D? So it will be 3 plus 2. Now D is designated as L equals to 2, or L equals to 2 means it is D subshell. So it is equals to 5, right? In the same way, if we take 4p here, right, here it will be N plus L will be 4 plus 1, it is coming 5. Now you can see that for the two subshells we are having the same value of N plus L. Now in that case, which subshell will have the higher energy, right? Now for this situation, or for this case, we will just check the value of N here, right? We will check the value of N. You will see here N equals to 3 and here is N equals to 4, right? So which subshell has got higher value of principal quantum number? It's 4p. So 4p has got N value greater, therefore than the 3D, right? Therefore 4p has higher energy, right? And this you can predict from the here or sequence also, that we have got 3D and 4p. The 4p has got higher energy, right? So therefore the second part of the rule is subshells having same value of N plus L, right? Then subshell with higher value of N has high energy, right? Will have higher energy. Now this was about the Boas-Bury rule. It has got the also known as N plus L rule, right? We show the significance of the energy level diagram with for the azimuthal quantum number and the principal quantum number. It has got the two parts, right? We can discuss this rule in two parts. The first is that the subshell, if we compare the two subshell, the subshell which will have the lower value of N plus L will have the lower energy, right? And second part is if we get the two subshells which are getting the same value of N plus L, in that case we will focus on the principal quantum number, that is the small n. The one which has got the higher value will have the higher energy, right? Yes, students, now we have done the rules, Pauli exclusion principle, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity and the Auber principle. Now we can do the electronic configuration of an atom. So what is an electronic configuration? It is the arrangement of electrons, right, in the different orbitals of a subshell in an atom. Now the electronic configuration, right, to write it down, we have gone the three steps, steps which are required is to first know the atomic number, right? Atomic number of an atom, of an element, right? That is required. You should know it, right? Or it will be given to you or you should learn it, right? Second is that we should have an idea about the sequence of the orbitals in which they will be filled up. This we can do with the help of Auber's rule or principle. Third is the in a subshell how the electrons will be filled up, that is the Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, right? And how many electrons are possible in an orbital, that is the Pauli's exclusion principle, right? Now when we know this, we can just move to the electronic configuration. Student, here for the help, right, so it becomes easier that what I'm writing here you can just relate it with the diagram over there, that is the Auber's rule here, right? It is a memory aid. It helps to remember the sequence of the configuration or the electronic configuration, right? And you will try your best that you remember it or learn it as soon as possible. Now let's begin with the electronic configuration, and we will just write down first, as we have discussed right now for the nitrogen. We are stepping ahead. Let it be for the aluminium, right? So what is Z or the atomic number of aluminium? It is 13. Now when you are writing the configuration, so first it will be 1s, right? First get this subshell completely filled up and then you will jump to the higher energy. This is in accordance to the Auber principle. This is 1s. Then it comes a turn of 2s. So here we will have 2 electron, right? Maximum S subshell can accommodate 2 electron. 2s again it's 2 electron. Then come the turn of 2p, right? This is 1s, then 2s, then 2p, right? So we have filled up 4. Now till to reach 13 we need more number of electrons, so I can put here maximum that can be accommodated in p subshell, that is 6. So how many electrons are there now? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 less, right, to get the 13. So we'll jump to 3s, right? Here maximum can be 2 electrons only. This is an S subshell, so it is 3s2. Now 1 is less, so it is 3p. Now here we will have 1 electron. Now just add all the electrons here. It is 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 6 10, 10 11 12 plus 1 13, right? Just to get the thing cleared, okay, so I have just circled it up. That circled one is the electron number, right? So it's not required that when you are writing the configuration you have to circle the number of electrons, right? Here just to get the thing more clear to you. So here you can see that in aluminium, first I got the first as subshell filled up, 2, then come the turn of 2s, then was 2p, then 3s, and then 3p. Right, student? This is for the aluminium. Right? So I think now it is clear that the second 2 is indicating here the principal quantum number. S is indicating here azimuthal quantum number. Right? Since S subshell has has got only one orbital, so it is indicated by this only, and this 2 is indicating the number of electrons. Here we are just writing the configuration till the subshell, right, and just writing total number of electrons in an orbital. Right? Now we will do one more here. So we have done for aluminium, right? Now you can write down for the potassium. Right? So try to write down the configuration with the help of this, right? So you can do it with along with me also. So Kz equal to 19, right? So what will be the electronic configuration of potassium here? So let's begin. It is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Now here we will make a halt here. So we have completed here with 2, 4, 10, 11, 12. Right. So when we come to here 3p, we can get here 6. So how much electron left? 1 only. So we will jump to 4s and it is 1 electron. Right. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 10, 3s2, 12, 3p6, 18, and one more 4s1, that is 19. Right? If you again see, the sequence is going to be same whether we are writing for aluminium or potassium. We are going to follow this sequence. Right? Now next, let us do for one more element here. Right? So let me do for iron. I'm just jumping ahead. Right, so here we have to write down the configuration of iron. For that we need its atomic number. So Z equal to 26. So we are doing it in this way. Right, so that is 26 here. So you will write down the configuration here again. So in the same sequence it will be 1s2. Right, I think already. So it is 1s2, it is 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Now here it is 4s2. So till here we had 18. This is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Right? 18. This is 19, 20. So here we can write down now for 3d. Right? So it is getting how much? 6 electrons. Right, so this is the configuration for the iron. So students, we are going to continue the write down the configuration in this way, though we have got the exceptional cases also. So we have the common exceptional cases of chromium and copper, right, where when we discuss it, we have to go through one more thing here. One more point is to be noted here, that the half-filled configuration, right, the atomic orbitals which have got the half number of the electrons that can be accommodated in them, or the full-filled orbitals, they have got the maximum stability. That means we have got for 3p, right, or let us say for the p subshell, what is going to be the half-filled configuration? It will be 3 electron. Full-filled configuration, it is 6. So similarly for the F subshell, we have half-filled configuration 7 electrons and full-filled configuration is 14. So half-filled and completely filled orbitals have got maximum stability, right? So we will discuss this, that why do we have the difference in the sequence of writing the configuration when we do for those orbitals, like for those elements like chromium and copper.